Origins and Formations 13, or Mara Salvatrucha, originated in Los Angeles, California during the 1980s. The gang was founded by Salvadoran immigrants who fled the Civil War in El Salvador, 1979–1992, and settled in the neighborhoods of Pico Union and Westlake. These new immigrants, many of whom were war-traumatized or former soldiers, were often bullied and attacked by existing Mexican-American and African-American gangs. To protect themselves, they began organizing into their own group, which later became known as MS13. Initially, the gang focused on defensive unity, then gradually evolved into a violent, organized criminal group. The name MS13 combines Mara, Central American slang for gang, Salvatrucha, a blend of Salvadoran and trucha, meaning street smart or alert. 13, a tribute to the 13th letter of the alphabet, M, referring to their alliance with the Mexican Mafia, La M, a powerful prison gang. MS-13 quickly adopted a military-like structure using weapons, coded language, strict loyalty rules, and violent initiation rituals. Members had to endure brutal beatings, the 13-second jump-in, or commit murder to be accepted. Ideology, structure, and symbols. MS-13 is not just a gang, but a criminal subculture with a unique code of conduct, ideology, and symbolism. Core values: the gang values loyalty, respect, brutality, and secrecy. La Mara believes that death is preferable to betrayal. Once someone becomes a member, leaving is almost impossible without facing torture or execution. This blood-in, blood-out rule is sacred. Hierarchical structure. MS-13 is decentralized, but maintains an organized system with the following hierarchy. Palabreros, shot callers or leaders, often in prison. Homeboys, full-fledged members who control local territories. Perros, junior members or recruits. Chaqueras, spies or logistical support members. Civilians, sympathizers or associates, sometimes unknowingly, aiding the gang. Each regional MS-13 group is called a clique, clica, and these often bear names like Normandy Locos, Hollywood Gangsters, etc., depending on their territory. Cliques operate semi-independently but are loyal to the broader organization. Tattoos and symbols. MS-13 members are known for their distinctive tattoos, which cover their bodies, faces, and hands. Common tattoos include MS, MS-13, or 13, devil horns, teardrops, crosses, skulls, or spider webs. These tattoos not only express allegiance but also serve as warnings to rivals and civilians alike. Some members tattoo their faces completely, making reintegration into society nearly impossible. 3. Global spread and expansion. From Los Angeles, MS-13 began to spread across Central America, North America, and even parts of Europe. Deportation and expansion. In the 1990s, the U.S. government increased deportations of gang members with criminal records to their home countries. Thousands of MS-13 members were sent back to El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala, bringing their gang culture, weapons knowledge, and organization with them. In these countries, already suffering from poverty, political instability, and weak legal systems, MS-13 quickly grew into a dominant power. They recruited unemployed youth, took over neighborhoods, and clashed with rival gangs, especially Barrio 18, M18. International networks. Today, MS-13 is present in the U.S., especially California, Texas, New York, Maryland, Virginia, and Nevada. Mexico, as transit zones and cooperation with drug cartels. El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala, main strongholds. Canada, Spain, Italy, and Germany, via immigration, MS-13 has transformed into a transnational criminal organization, operating across borders, using social media and encrypted messaging for coordination, and engaging in international crimes like drug and human trafficking. Phew. Criminal Activities 1. Murder, symbolism, and control. MS-13 is infamous for its extremely brutal murders. Killing is not just punishment, but a ritual of loyalty, a tool of fear, and a show of dominance. Victims are killed with machetes, knives, firearms, and sometimes tortured, beaten, mutilated, or burned alive. Victims include traitors and informants, business owners refusing extortion, rival gang members. Innocent civilians suspected of talking to police murders are committed in gruesome ways to send a psychological message: loyalty or death. Drug trade. MS-13 profits heavily from drug trafficking, mainly cocaine, heroin, marijuana, methamphetamine, and fentanyl. In the U.S., they work with Mexican cartels like CJNG and Los Zetas to distribute drugs in local neighborhoods. In Central America, MS-13 helps smuggle drugs from South America toward the U.S., using trucks, buses, fishing boats, and human mules. Drug money funds weapons, bribes, legal fees, and prison support. Extortion and street taxes. MS-13 runs widespread extortion rackets, forcing small businesses and individuals to pay a weekly fee, or la renta. Refusing means harassment, arson, kidnapping, or execution. Targets include market vendors, bus drivers, shop owners, local officials. Even kids are used to collect payments, training them early and shielding adult members from legal risk. Human trafficking and illegal migration. MS-13 profits from smuggling migrants from Central America to the U.S. Often, vulnerable migrants are extorted, raped, or sold into sex slavery. Those unable to pay may have family members kidnapped or be coerced into joining the gang. For women and children, migration sometimes becomes a path into forced prostitution under gang control. Prison control. Far from weakening MS-13, prison has become a command center. Inside prisons, gang leaders, palabreros, coordinate killings, extortion, and gang expansion using smuggled phones, bribed guards, and internal economies based on drugs and protection rackets. In El Salvador, some prisons are de facto gang headquarters, housing thousands of MS-13 members who still operate freely behind bars. Cybercrime and money laundering. Recently, MS-13 has ventured into cybercrime, including online scams, identity theft, cryptocurrency-based money laundering, phishing, and extortion schemes. They use front businesses like restaurants, auto shops, and mobile phone stores to launder money and avoid detection. VU. Social impact and government response. 1. Impact on communities. MS-13 instills fear and despair in communities. Civilians live under the threat of extortion, violence, and forced recruitment. Children as young as 12 are coerced into joining. Women are kidnapped or raped. Basic activities like going to school or work become dangerous. In the U.S., the gang's presence has triggered xenophobia and discrimination against Latino immigrants, especially Salvadorans. Visible tattoos or addresses in gang-occupied zones can lead to unfair treatment by authorities and employers. Impact on law and politics. In Central America, MS-13 has weakened state institutions. Some neighborhoods are fully controlled by gangs where police dare not enter and officials are bribed or threatened into silence. There is evidence that some politicians negotiated with MS-13 to reduce homicides in exchange for political support or prison privileges, such as in El Salvador, where secret pacts came to light in recent investigations. In the U.S., MS-13 has fueled political debates about immigration policy. Some cite the gang to justify harsher immigration laws, which sometimes affect innocent migrants or refugees fleeing gang violence. Government Crackdowns. United States, the U.S. designated MS-13 a transnational criminal organization and launched operations like Operation Raging Bull to arrest hundreds of members. Agencies like the FBI and ICE created gang task forces for tracking and prosecution. However, deporting gang members back to Central America often backfires, expanding MS-13's reach and strengthening it abroad. B. El Salvador in 2022. President Nayib Bukele launched a state of emergency and built a 40,000-capacity mega-prison to house suspected gang members. Over 75,000 people were arrested, drastically reducing homicide rates. Critics argue this crackdown violates human rights, imprisons innocent people, and employs torture and collective punishment. Still, many Salvadorans support the policy due to increased safety at sea. Honduras and Guatemala. These nations mimic El Salvador's strategy, declaring martial law in gang-controlled areas, raiding prisons, and coordinating with foreign agencies. However, weak legal systems and poverty limit effectiveness. D. International cooperation. Countries like Mexico, Spain, and Canada have increased surveillance and extradition agreements to combat MS-13. Interpol has issued red notices for several MS-13 leaders. B. Decline and future of MS-131. Signs of decline. In recent years, MS-13 has faced intense pressure from governments, especially in El Salvador. The unprecedented crackdown by President Nayib Bukele, including mass arrests, military control of neighborhoods, and the creation of a massive prison, has weakened the gang's street presence. With over 75,000 people arrested and thousands of firearms seized, the operational capacity of many MS-13 cliques has significantly declined. In the U.S., MS-13 has also suffered from long-term investigations and arrests by federal agencies. Notable leaders have been convicted or deported, communication networks disrupted, and recruitment efforts hindered. The FBI, Department of Justice, and local police departments now share data and monitor gang activity across state lines. Additionally, public rejection of MS-13 has grown, especially among younger generations. Many youth in El Salvador and Honduras now resist joining gangs, seeking instead to migrate, study, or work, even amid limited opportunities. Evolution of criminal strategies. However, MS-13 is not dead. Like many organized crime groups, it has shown remarkable adaptability. Some signs of this include shifting to more discreet operations, with fewer visible tattoos and less street-level violence to avoid detection, infiltrating businesses, legal enterprises, and even politics, mimicking the path of older mafias, diversifying into cybercrime, extortion via social media, and cryptocurrency laundering, building prison economies, controlling entire cell blocks, and negotiating indirectly with authorities. This strategic evolution means that while public violence may decrease, the gang could become more covert and economically powerful in the long term. 3. Controversies and human rights concerns. The war against MS-13, especially in El Salvador, has led to serious international criticism. Human rights organizations, such as Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, have documented mass arbitrary detentions of innocent civilians, lack of due process or legal representation, reports of torture, beatings, and deaths in custody, use of anti-terror laws to prosecute minors or graffiti artists. These allegations raise ethical and legal concerns. Some fear that militarized responses to gangs could erode civil liberties and create authoritarian tendencies, particularly in countries with fragile democracies. international implications, MS-13 remains a transnational threat, and so must be, countered through international cooperation. Effective long-term strategies require improving education and job opportunities for youth in gang-prone communities, reforming prisons, which often serve as gang command centers, targeting financial flows, not just street-level members, supporting victims and reintegration programs for those seeking to leave gangs. The U.S., Central American governments, and global partners must also balance security and human rights to avoid creating a cycle of repression and radicalization. The uncertain future, MS-13's future, remains uncertain. On one hand, unprecedented crackdowns, rising public resistance, and improved international cooperation may diminish its influence. On the other, the gang's flexibility, secrecy, and social roots make total eradication unlikely. What began as a defense group for refugees has transformed into one of the most violent criminal organizations in the world. Whether MS-13 fades into history or evolves into something more hidden and powerful will depend on how governments, communities, and international actors respond in the next decade.